What's up everybody, it's Joe Ford here and I'm here to do another production tutorial for Sample Genie. Today's focus is going to be on advanced distortion techniques. I felt like since my last video, which is a little bit ago, hopefully got to grip with distortion a little bit more, and I think I've worked out a few more tricks and a few more consistent rules for it, which is always useful. So we're going to get into making some cool sound in a bit, but first of all, we're just going to look at different distortion types and some kind of general rules for them that are going to help us understand what's going on when we're creating some sounds. So I've got a simple sine wave up here at F0. That's a lie. I've left distortion on there. Cool. So yeah, we've just got operator, a single oscillator on, at F0, and then I've just turned it up with the utility. Sweet. So yeah, I've tried to categorize different distortion types. There's three main ones that I kind of think about, that I see popping up quite a lot, and I categorize them based on the harmonics that they create. So let's get up another instance of operator, or the things we'll be doing, we can use any synth for. But operator makes things quite simple. So in this one then, instead of a sine wave, which you can see here, so this is oscillator A, and we've chosen the sine wave for this one, I'm going to change it to a saw. So I've just saw D, which is just a normal saw wave with, and you can see all these bars represent all that different harmonics. So if we look at the sine wave first, we've got just the one harmonic there, and then a saw wave is actually built up from, got a little bit of a pitch bend on there, we can ignore that. I'll just turn it off real quick. So you can see the difference there. The sine wave just has what we call the fundamental, which is the first harmonic, and the saw has all the odd and even harmonics that make up the whole, that go across the whole spectrum. So yeah, essentially you could say that this saw wave is made up of loads of individual versions of this at different pitches, right? And this is important for what we're going to be talking about, so bear with me for a sec. So that's a saw wave that has all the what we call odd and even harmonics. So we've got the first one starts here, and then the next one's an octave up, and then the one after that is an octave and a fifth, and they have this kind of harmonic order that maintains what we feel like here as a pitch. I'm going to show you what a square wave looks like, because that's important. So that's a saw. If we go into a square, see, instead of having every bar, which would represent every harmonic, this one has only the odd ones. And if we look at the readout for that, there's these big gaps. And a square wave sounds a little bit more aggressive because it doesn't have all the harmonics in between that help our ears discern what pitch it is. So when it's really low, there's a kind of slight dissonant thing to it. And as we start to do more distortions and get used to that sound, your ear will quickly cotton on to what is a kind of saw wavy type distortion or readout of harmonics, and what is a more square or odd harmonic frequency layout. So with that aside, we'll start with this sine wave again. Cool. So let's apply a distortion then that gives me some even harmonics, or the even and odd ones. So this is like what I categorize as the saw wave type distortion. So anything in trash on fuzz, I find to give out quite saw wavy results. So as you can see here, you've got the original, and we've got all the even and odd ones there. So and you can kind of tell that's got that saw wavy kind of feel to it already. So if I bypass that and create another one, we'll find a distortion type that's more squarey. So with the stages, I just applied the same distortion twice, nothing complicated going on there. Something like tape saturation squares the wave quite a lot. So let's have a look at that. Cool, so we've got these big gaps, which obviously means that it's more of a square wavy thing. So that's, yeah, we bear that in mind whenever I'm looking at building up like a bass sound or something from just a sine wave, which I do quite a lot now to avoid it sounding kind of like a. I used to use a load of wavetables all the time, a lot of like straight out the box stuff, which I think has been done a lot. So it's often people are trying to find new ways to create pitched sounds, and layering on distortion is a great way of doing that. So we can achieve all kinds of different layouts just using distortion types, and if we are aware of how they're working, we can pick and choose exactly how the new waveform is created. And this is pretty interesting. So they're the two first ones. So we've got saw wavy, square wavy, and there's another one which I hear quite a lot. It's like I don't really have a name for it yet. This is just stuff I'm saying, kind of thinking in my head. But there's this other one. It's gone to heavy sine shaping, which kind of, the more you push it, it seems to kind of remove the fundamental and exaggerate higher octave harmonics, kind of like an upward formant would do, or sync inside of Serum. So let's just show that. See, so as I push the mix up there, it seems to choose the higher harmonic in the sound and then start to exaggerate those. So if we that's important later on. So if we have we can isolate a harmonic in the sound. Say if there's a saw wave, we had a fundamental down here, and we had something up here, and we wanted that to be the new bass for some harmonics higher than that. You could isolate that and put some sine shaping on. You get all this kind of, it's like you've added in other octave layers from the original, and you get a really thick, more like chordal sound going on. Anyway, we'll go through all that, but yeah. So those are the three main types. We've got saw, square, and then this kind of wave shaping thing. And there's quite a few different versions of that. In trash, certainly there's sine shaping, elastic trash is another one. I think dense does one. And all of these can be found within Ableton as well. Saturator, pretty much this one. Let's just have a look at them. So the analog clip, that sounds square. That's square. All square. They're probably, they're very damn similar. Sinefold. Okay, so you can hear that instantly. Getting some really exaggerated higher harmonics there. So that's what the wave shaping kind of thing one. Yeah, that's more square, sounds like. Yeah, so they're all square other than the Sinefold. If you want to get the saw wavy one in Ableton, if you haven't got trash, I'm aware that I don't want to be doing everything completely with just trash, because if you don't have it, it's kind of annoying. But at this point, I don't know. I'd suggest everyone has it. There we go. And we can instantly, that sounds like a saw wave, right? As opposed to... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that becomes more obvious with time. Okay, now we've got the boring stuff out of the way, we can actually make some cool shit with it. Sweet.